Hello, good morning. So first, I apologize if my voice is a little bit bad. I've actually spent the morning crying. Uh, I was really hoping not to have to make a video about this topic again, but if you guys follow the news, you've probably already heard that countries in Europe are starting to go back into lockdown and closing the borders. Germany being one of them. And now also they're saying there's a new strain from Botswana, and I can't even get myself to get frustrated or angry like I normally do because I'm literally so just at the end of my strength when it comes to this topic because of course there's a new strain. I don't understand what we're doing. I really don't understand what we're doing in this world anymore when it comes to a virus mutates. That's what it does. And of course, there's a new strain, just kind of like now you don't even hear about it anymore. But a couple of months ago, there was the Delta variant. And of course, the Delta variant was worse and stronger. So, of course, it justified all of the things that the government said we had to do, which was lockdowns and more masks and, you know, and now, of course, this strain from Botswana is, of course, even worse and stronger. And it's more like it's I know that I've held a very unpopular opinion when it comes to the whole pandemic issue. I still hold this unpopular opinion. I don't think it was ever a big issue. I the media and the governments have so overstepped their rights in terms of taking away human liberties. It's something I will never be able to forgive. And I kind of went into my YouTube, like, and I actually looked. I was like, in March 16th, I did a video on Corona where I broke down like the statistics and basically showed that we were being lied to. March 16th last year, 2020, when all this first started. I made a video. I'm gonna link all the videos I talk about now. I don't know if you guys want to see those or care. Most people don't agree with me on this topic anyway. Most people don't agree with me on most of my topics. But back then I already made a video saying how the media is lying to us, how they're not reporting in a non-biased fashion. It is all sensationalism. It is all fear tactics. It's all propaganda. I don't I am not a denier of the fact that this disease does exist. I absolutely believe that this virus exists. I'm also not an anti-vaxxer. I am fully vaccinated, even though now we're going to go start doing this whole booster thing, and that's going to become a thing where it's like you're going to get booster shots all the freaking time, which even that, like, I don't know, there's so much going on in my head and I don't even know if I can get it all out in a video in a way that is logical and interesting for people to listen to. But even like with these booster shots, I'm kind of like, if we're now going back into, I have such an anger and frustration because I'm like, we were all we were all told that the vaccine is the answer. The vaccine is the answer. The vaccine is the answer, and they dangled this little sense of freedom in front of us, claiming that if you do this, then everything's going to get better. And I know what some people are going to say now. It's because the people who don't want to get vaccinated, that's why all this is happening. this is where I really, really split off from a lot of people who are okay with vaccinations. Like I said, I am vaccinated. I don't believe this. I absolutely don't believe this. I actually think this is another scare tactic from all the governments. They're trying to find a boogeyman. I actually have to say the way the media and the governments are treating people who don't want to get vaccinated to me is really, really starting to have historical feelings of how the Jews were persecuted and how black people were persecuted. I mean, literally just creating these scapegoats because the government is realizing that things aren't working the way they are. We have the data. We know that people who are vaccinated are still capable of getting it, of transmitting it. It is a lot of the people in the hospitals now are people who have been vaccinated. So this push to kind of make us fight amongst each other, I can't help but feel like this is a way for the government and the media to try to take away blame from their own ineptitude. You guys, I don't know if I can go through this again. I mean, like I said, my first, like I did a video on March 16th of 2020, doing like the statistical breakdown where I was like, you guys, the numbers do not support the measures we're doing. Then in March 23rd of 2020, I did a video where I talked about what my predictions were going to be, that if we go in and do all these lockdowns and all this craziness, what's going to happen. And I don't remember what all of them were, but like you guys can watch the video. But I know that except for a war happening, all the other predictions that I made came true. Like suicide rates going up, mental health getting worse, domestic violence getting worse, the economy going into a recession. Everything I predicted back in March 23rd, 2020 has happened. And then on May 21st, I actually kind of went through and looked at like the videos I made already about this topic. I also actually one of my most edited, most well thought out videos. I showed about like the lies that the media and the government are pushing in regards to this. You know, how the corona numbers are completely fabricated to a certain degree. Not saying that there aren't people who die from corona, but you know how hospitals are getting incentivized to claim that something is a corona death, that people who die that have cancer but happen to have had corona while they were dying from cancer are being put down as corona deaths. You know, there's just a complete falsehood behind how this is. And at the end of the day, even before the vaccine came out, the death rate was only around 4 to 5% only. I know for some people that's already too much, but I had just recently, I hadn't posted this video yet, but when I was on my first vacation from this new job, when I was in Colombia, here in South America, all the countries I've been to so far, they require that you wear a mask outside. That's technically the rule. And actually, in my videos, I've already said so many times that I am somebody who really believes in following laws and regulations. That's just the kind of person I am. If you have a problem with something the way the world is, then you can do protest, you can write to your congressman, you know, you can become a social activist, you know, create awareness for the things that you think are wrong legally. Uh, but actually, when I was in Colombia, this is now about a month ago, so I had decided that I will no longer wear a mask outside. And from that day on, I haven't, even though it is a rule here. And I see it personally as an act of civil disobedience. I won't do it anymore. And it's just weird to me that I literally just finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to play along with this anymore. They're wearing the mask inside within close proximity of other people. I I just personally don't agree with the mask. I don't. I wear it because I know the vast majority of people just feel more comfortable that way. And like I said, I do believe that when you live in a community to some degree, you have to take away a little bit of yourself for the sake of the community. Uh, so yes, I wear the mask when I go into places, but I won't wear the mask outside anymore. And actually, I think I was watching Candace Owens, and she was showing like some TikTok videos, and there was a woman in one of the TikTok videos who was like, there is a great way. What'd she say? Like, I'm totally paraphrasing, sorry, but she said something along the lines of, actually, I appreciate people who don't wear masks because they show me who is a potential target for being discriminated against or being treated badly, because these are obviously evil people. And it's funny that, because I watched that TikTok video, and in my head, I literally was thinking, it's weird that this woman, who is obviously a complete believer and will follow any rule that the government says, no matter how nonsensical it is, and the vast majority of them have been completely nonsensical. I actually almost have the opposite feeling. Walking around when I see somebody not wearing a mask, because I'm like, to some degree, I'm like, it's a rule. I understand a lot of people, they just don't want to break rules or have the issues of what happens if you don't follow the rules. But when I see people who are actually wearing double masks or hazmat suits or like a mask and a face shield, I actually have that same feeling. I actually look at these people and I go, you are a complete waste, a complete waste of like human space. Just to be so to go through life, uh, to allow yourself to get so fearful and brainwashed. I wouldn't even know. I'm like, first, I wouldn't even know how to interact with somebody like that. Like, to be so just ridiculously, I can't. I like, and then I also think, if the world were ever to return to normal, which has become seems to be becoming less and less likely, not just because of Corona, but like just the way we're handling things like pronouns and transgenderism, and everything is racist and everything is sexist, and you know we're on a really weird, scary trajectory. How are you going to incorporate people that have gone so down the rabbit hole back into society? Do you think these people are ever going to be able to go back to thinking, oh, I can just walk around normally without a mask and without a face shield? Like, these people have literally now have a psychosis. They literally see germs and viruses and the boogeyman and everything and everyone. Anyway, so like, the reason I brought this up, my old videos and my predictions, is kind of because I'm like, I made a bet with my boss in Saudi, who was also actually probably my closest friend in Saudi after my friend Ben left. I remember we made a bet when this all first started, and I said, this is going to be at least 5 years. This is going to take at least 5 years. And especially the masks. Like, our bet was mostly about the masks. I was like, we're going to be wearing these masks for at least 5 years. And he was like, nah, come on, whatever. This whole thing is going to blow over in like 6 months. Because remember how it all began? 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Just 2 months of lockdown, hard lockdowns, and everything will be better. Oh, 6 months just to get herd immunity. Oh, just everybody, 2 vaccination shots and everything will go back to normal. Oh, everybody just needs the booster. Oh, and start with like, if 40% of the population get the vaccine, it's good. Then it went to like, oh no, 60% have to get the vaccine. Oh, 80% have to get the vaccine. Now it's like, if not every single living human being gets the vaccination, we could never get out of this. The goalpost is just getting shifted further and further and further, all in favor of more and more fascistic. I can't say that word in English. Fascistic. Sorry, you guys. Fascism. Fascistic governmental control over their constituents and the people that live in those countries. If you cannot see that this is a move to dictatorial treatment of the government over its people, I actually have to say that you're completely blind. I mean, anyway, the goal. And so I told him, I was like, nah, and he was like, nah, nah, it's gonna be gone. So I know we're all tired. I'm tired too. I'm so tired. I'm so drained. And I think I sometimes wonder if this was, I've never been a conspiracy person. I always laughed at people who were conspiracy theories people. But in this situation, there's so many things I'm just kind of like, I can't help but feel like, is the government purposely trying to just completely wear us down and make us tired to the point where we won't even question or say anything anymore. Like people are becoming so complacent on this issue. We're just like, okay, I guess we're just gonna go into another lockdown. Deepity deepity doo, and this isn't gonna end. This is not going to end. We're now going to go into yearly lockdowns and continuous booster shots, and every strain of the virus that comes around, the next one's going to come from Brazil again or some other third world country where we don't have enough medical facilities or proof to actually kind of go and say like this is BS, and people like it's going to come from Nigeria or Brazil or I don't know, Laos or the Philippines or someplace, and it's gonna be more virulent, of course, and it's gonna have more people going to the hospital and just to constantly up the ante and get people all wild and worried and scared again to justify that we're going into lockdowns again. And more than anything, I just don't know if I can go through this again. I'm so disappointed. I'm somebody. I was talking with a new friend of mine who I met through YouTube, and I was saying to her, I was like, one of the most difficult aspects for me being the person I am, and something that causes me personally a lot of self-inflicted mental anguish, is that I have this weird juxtaposition in my personality where on the one hand I feel a lot of social responsibility, and I am trying so hard, and I've tried so hard through my video channels, through talking to friends, through being a very outspoken person, to give an opposing view to what the mainstream is just telling you is the truth, and trying to encourage people to do some independent thinking and to say it's okay to ruffle a couple of feathers, and to do so because you are supporting what is actual rational thought and truth, mostly to fall on deaf ears and mostly to just get me accused of being a horrible person. But at the same time, I still always feel this push. That's part of the reason I'm doing this video now again, because I I am so fearful of what is happening to us as a people with this long term. We're going to get isolated again. We're going to go into lockdowns again. The children I work with, I cannot. What we are doing to if for no other reason, this is so unjustifiable because of the children. Like they just now here in Ecuador have been allowed to go back to school, and the idea that they might be forced to go back into online learning, which doesn't work. We are ruining an entire generation. I I can't believe we're even considering doing this again. Like, just like we have learned nothing out of the last 2 years that these lockdowns don't work. And the cost of human suffering and the pain and the problems it is creating, it's just doesn't justify, even if it does. I understand how uncomfortable people feel about the idea of death, and death is a sad and horrible thing. But it, if we have a scale, and on one side we have people dying, and on the other side we have human suffering, it just doesn't hold to scale. It doesn't hold to scale. You know, 0.001% of the world population dying from a virus versus literally almost every single human being, almost 100% out of, except for maybe like the people who own Pfizer or the people who own Amazon. Outside of them, pretty much every single person has had negative repercussions and suffering because of the way that we are handling this. And to think that we might actually go into this again, this short-sightedness, this people get sick, people die, it's an aspect of life. It just doesn't. Oh God, the children, I can't. I admit I'm really I'm really worried because the moment Europe starts doing this lockdown and stuff again, all the other countries in the world will follow and they will falter. And it will not change. We are going to go through this now forever and ever in a cyclical thing until the economy is completely ruined, until we've completely demoralized and destroyed an entire generation of people, until we have made it so that almost everybody on this planet has fallen so far deep in the rabbit hole that they really think they need to wear 5 masks, a face shield, a hazmat suit, touch everything with gloves. It will not change until we as people finally all stand up and say, it's enough. It's enough. And this is where I was saying, like, in terms of for the first time in my life, believing in conspiracy theories, because they have worn us down more and more and more. And people are so mentally tired and physically exhausted. Less and less people are willing to even debate or fight this anymore, because and at some point we're just going to stop, and then we're going to be thankful for the government doing things like, okay, for the next week and a half you're allowed to go to the park. Yeah, make sure to thank your government. Make sure to thank your dictator for allowing you the right to go to the park for the next week and a half. Like, this is going to be our new sense of human liberty and freedom, and I'm not wearing a mask outside again. I won't do it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't care if I don't care what variants they're saying are coming. I don't care how crazy. I'm not gonna do it. I I'm not gonna follow lockdown rules. I'm not gonna follow curfews. I will wear the mask inside in close proximity with people. I will continue washing my hands, and I will continue being a rational, normal human being like always, which means I never went out of my way to spit on people or cough on people or sneeze in their faces. Or, if I feel like I might get sick, I will stay home to not make other people sick. But beyond that, I'm not doing any of the, I will not, I will not comply. I will not comply. I am done. I am done, done, done. I am done of the scare tactics. I am done of this ridiculous push to make us think that this is something that it is not. Like I said, even though I believe that it is a virus, it is not a. I'm sorry. It's statistically like just people do a little bit of digging and a little bit of research and a little bit of statistics. It is not justifiable what we have done to the world. And if we go into this again, it is. I always, every time I made a Corona video, I always went back to the same thing. I'm like, more than anything, I hate human hypocrisy. And not just on Corona, but so many topics that I debate. It's just always just filled so deep with hypocrisy and always people claiming that they care so much about other people and human life and no all putting on a mask and acting like you're a hero, staying at home on your couch and getting fat and not and wearing your pajamas all day and just losing the wish to live makes you a hero. No. Always saying that they care about children when we have. I can't even make predictions on that. The way the kids from maybe like age of, I don't know, 5 to 15, how they are going to traverse the world, especially if we do this again. Like, I can't believe we're here. I just can't believe that this. I can't believe that people are so unwilling to listen to reason, to do independent thinking, to put aside their irrational fears and just go, let's see, have to wear a mask jogging alone in the park, can take my mask off with a group of friends in a restaurant. I don't see any issue with that. No problem. Don't have to wear a mask in this country. Don't even have to get vaccinated in this country. The neighboring country, you can't even enter unless you have both vaccinations and the booster shot. Nothing illogical about that.